From the cold waters offshore to the rough, wave-filled beaches, orcas consistently demonstrate their ability to coordinate and control their prey with remarkable precision. Many chases begin with a moment of silence underwater before the orca suddenly accelerates, redirecting its movement and quickly closing in on its prey. In the ocean, even a small change in distance or terrain can alter the entire outcome. In the Pacific Ocean, dolphins move close together and maintain underwater acoustic communication. Dolphins have very quick reflexes when hunting prey or avoiding danger, and they use echolocation to locate objects in murky or dark water. Unusual changes in water currents cause the entire group to slow down and become more vigilant. From a distance, the orca group spots the dolphins and begins to split up instead of pursuing them in a chaotic manner. One group of orcas presses from behind, while the others move forward to block the dolphins' escape route. The constant pressure forces the dolphins to change direction multiple times, gradually stretching their defensive formation. When a dolphin briefly separates from the group, the orcas immediately accelerate and end the pursuit with a powerful collision. This confrontation demonstrates the orca's excellent control of space, and the constant pressure becomes the decisive advantage in determining the final outcome. Mother gray whales lead their young through cold waters, maintaining a very close distance throughout the journey. Gray whales possess an innate ability to navigate accurately in murky water or bad weather, along with remarkable endurance. When the currents around the pod begin to change erratically, the mother gray whale immediately slows down and keeps her young closer. Soon after, a group of orca appear, taking turns applying pressure from multiple directions. One group of orcas extends their encirclement, while others continuously monitor the mother gray whale's defensive reactions. When the young are exposed, the orcas immediately close in, forcing the mother gray whale to constantly change direction to protect herself. The prolonged confrontation gradually exhausts the mother gray whale in her efforts to protect her offspring. The orca gain the advantage through patience, coordination, and a strategy of continuous pressure. In nature, maternal love is always intertwined with the pressure of survival, where control of space ultimately determines the outcome. In the narrow waters offshore, the mother humpback whale always keeps her calf close by. Humpback whales are highly sensitive to changes in water currents and quickly detect danger in areas with poor visibility. Their large tails are powerful enough to prevent opponents from getting too close in the confined water. The orca pack begins to approach the mother humpback whale and calf, constantly shifting their formation. One group of orcas narrows the space, while the others force the mother humpback whale to constantly turn to protect her calf. When the defensive distance widens, The orcas suddenly accelerate and lunge forcefully at the mother humpback whale's flank to break through the protective barrier. As the safe distance between the mother humpback whale and calf is gradually broken, the orcas gain the advantage through patience, coordination, and sustained pressure throughout the chase. In the narrow waters, the ability to control space ultimately determines the outcome. On a floating ice floe, seals rest close to the edge, constantly sensing the movement of the water below. Seals have a highly sensitive instinct for detecting vibrations, even when large waves make underwater visibility difficult. Their thick layer of fat helps them withstand the cold and maintain stamina when they have to leave a safe position for extended periods. Below the surface, the orca swarm begins observing the buoyancy of the ice floe and swims alongside it to create larger waves. These waves continuously push the ice floe away from its stable position, forcing the seal to constantly change its posture to maintain balance. When the seal slides underwater, the orcas below immediately close in and begin their attack. The confrontation ends when the seal gradually loses its topographical advantage on the floating ice floe. The orcas gain the advantage through coordination, environmental observation, and the use of water waves to create continuous pressure. In cold waters, generations of hunting experience allow orcas to effectively control the space and direction of their prey's movement. Near the Patagonian coast, the sea lion hovers close to the water's edge, constantly observing the surface movement. Sea lions possess a keen survival instinct in turbulent waters, thanks to their excellent hearing and ability to sense underwater vibrations. Their strong front fins allow them to accelerate quickly and change direction flexibly, but their position near the water's edge becomes increasingly risky. Below the surface, the orca begins to monitor the tide and the sea lion's movement. Instead of immediately engaging, the orca maintains distance, observing the terrain, and waiting for the moment the sea lion moves away from its safe zone. When the wave is strong enough, the orca suddenly accelerates underwater and lunges directly at the sea lion in a very short time. After several minutes of pressure, the sea lion is unable to react to the high-speed lunge from beneath the waves. The orca gains the advantage thanks to its ability to calculate the terrain, timing, and direction of its prey's movement. In a coastal environment, even a small change in position can completely alter the outcome. In deep water near the shore, white sharks move slowly and often ambush prey from below. White sharks possess a dangerous instinct for surprise attacks and a powerful impact when approaching prey at close range. when strange sounds begin to spread through the water. White sharks slow down and observe their surroundings for longer. From a distance, the orca pack detects the white shark using echolocation and quickly forms a surrounding formation. Instead of immediately attacking, they take turns applying pressure, gradually blocking escape routes to open water. When the most experienced individual approaches at the right angle, the orca suddenly flips the white shark over to subdue it. The safe distance begins to disappear as the white shark gradually loses all control within the surrounded area. Orca gain the advantage through pack tactics and their understanding of their opponent's biological weaknesses. In nature, understanding an opponent's weaknesses is sometimes more important than possessing superior strength. On islands around Antarctica, penguins congregate in large groups and are relatively safe on land. Penguins have very quick reflexes underwater, but when they leave the shore to hunt fish, the waters near rocky shores become more dangerous. Outside of areas with strong waves, orca colonies constantly patrol shallow waters and silently wait for penguins to enter areas where they are difficult to steer. When a penguin slows down near the shore, the orca immediately accelerates, forcing it to change direction and quickly closing in from behind. After a few seconds of pursuit in shallow water, the penguin's safe distance quickly disappears. The orca gains an advantage through its ability to change tactics and utilize the terrain to control the prey's movement. Beneath the sand in shallow water, stingrays typically lie still, observing their surroundings before searching for food. Stingrays are capable of rapidly changing direction underwater, and their flexible tails allow them to react quickly to danger. Even slight changes in water currents cause the stingray to slow down and become more alert. Soon after, the orca begins to approach from behind with very smooth, almost silent movements underwater. Once close enough, the orca whips its tail, creating a large jet of water that momentarily stuns the stingray. After this brief approach, the orca doesn't pursue further but instead circles around, observing the stingray's reaction. This encounter demonstrates that the orca's true strength lies not only in its physical prowess, but also in its instinctive control. In the ocean, calmness sometimes provides a greater advantage than sheer power alone. Through each encounter, orca consistently demonstrates excellent coordination, tactical adaptability, and precise situational control. Each underwater chase is not only a test of strength, but also of patience and adaptability to different environments. If you want to explore more extraordinary hunting moments in the wild ocean, please continue reading the following parts. In the ocean world, advantage doesn't come from speed, but from the ability to maintain pressure over time. Killer whales don't rush to approach, but instead alter every small element in the space surrounding their prey. Distance, direction of movement, and the environment are all gradually adjusted. And once everything has deviated from its initial state, the outcome is virtually fixed. In the icy environment, polar bears rely on their stable surface position to control the situation. They swim well and can travel long distances, but their advantage only truly exists as long as they maintain distance from the ice edge. Their surface movement creates a sense of initiative. When forced to stay underwater longer, this initiative begins to diminish significantly. From below, orca pursue and maintain constant control. Instead of immediately closing in, they approach repeatedly to maintain pressure and force the bear to swim continuously. Each time the distance is broken, the bear loses a portion of its momentum. The situation gradually shifts from short-term control to prolonged attrition in deep water. As soon as the momentum is lost, the polar bear is completely outmaneuvered. Efforts to maintain distance are no longer effective. While the orca retains the advantage underwater, the outcome is determined not by strength on land, but by the ability to master the environment. In this section, the environment dictates the course of events before the confrontation comes to an end. With their ability to constantly change direction, dolphins gain an advantage by maintaining consistent distance and speed. The group's swimming rhythm remains uniform, allowing each individual to react quickly to unexpected changes. This coordination opens up many escape routes in the open space. But that advantage depends entirely on the uninterrupted rhythm of movement. On the outer edge, the killer whales don't rush in but begin to pressure the entire group. They divide positions, maintain distance, and force the dolphin group to constantly change direction to stay safe. When the rhythm of movement becomes chaotic, one individual accelerates and lunges in at the right moment. The approach is strong enough to destabilize a dolphin and send it flying out of the water, creating a short gap. Immediately afterward, the speed advantage is no longer maintained. The disrupted swimming rhythm narrows the escape routes, while pressure remains constant. The killer whale's coordination prevents the target from regaining a safe distance. The outcome is determined from the first moment of instability, when speed is no longer the deciding factor. On the edge of the ice floe, penguins maintain their survival instincts by moving in groups and observing before diving into the water. They don't dive immediately, but wait and assess the surrounding environment to minimize risk. Each approach to the ice edge involves a brief hesitation, a way of monitoring the potential danger from below. This habit prolongs the safe time, but doesn't eliminate risk entirely. Below the surface, the orca maintains a low position and monitors every movement on the surface. It doesn't apply pressure prematurely, but waits for the exact moment the target begins to dive. When the distance is close enough, it accelerates in a very short burst and approaches vertically. The entire movement is kept secret until the very last second. The moment of contact occurs just as the penguin leaves the safe surface. Its range of movement is limited, and there isn't enough time to return to the ice floe. The advantage shifts to the killer whale as soon as the environment changes. The outcome is determined by the precise timing of the appearance, not by the duration of the change. On floating ice floes, seals maintain their survival instincts by clinging to the stable surface and constantly observing their surroundings. They don't stray too far from their position, prioritizing distance from the open water below. Each movement is short and controlled to avoid falling into an unfavorable environment. This reliance on the ice creates a temporary safe zone, but also limits their reactions when pressure begins to build. Not far away, killer whales don't rush to approach directly, but maintain a stable distance and move in sync. They swim parallel, adjusting their position and creating controlled waves toward the ice floe. Each movement has a clear objective, gradually reducing the stability of the seal's clinging position. The pressure doesn't come from a single attack, but is increased in calculated steps. When the continuous waves disrupt their grip, the seal is forced to fall into the water for a brief moment. At that point, the advantage shifts entirely to the orca. Attempts to return to the ice floe are no longer quick enough to restore their original safe position. The outcome is determined when the environment changes and the target no longer holds the topographical advantage. The entire situation illustrates the clear difference between maintaining position and controlling the situation. The orca doesn't need to attack immediately, but controls the situation until a clear opportunity arises. The seal can only prolong its survival, but cannot change the course of events when the environment is controlled. In nature, effectiveness often comes from patience and precise coordination. In deep water, sharks maintain a steady rhythm of movement to control their surroundings. They rely on their sense of vibrations, stable swimming direction, and quick reflexes to maintain the upper hand. Their bodies are always in a state of readiness, capable of handling many changes in their environment. But this very stability also makes it difficult for them to recognize pressure building from multiple directions. From various directions, a group of orca begins to form a control circle around their target. They don't immediately swarm, but maintain formation, adjust their position, and gradually tighten the space in a very regular rhythm. When the right moment arrives, the attack is launched in a short, precise, and coordinated manner. The hunt doesn't involve a prolonged chase, but focuses on quickly gaining control of the prey. After establishing dominance, the orca don't use the entire prey in the usual way. They focus on the most energy-rich part, shortening the time and optimizing the benefits of the hunt. The outcome is determined not only by the ability to take down the target, but also by how they choose the most valuable part. Sharks lose not only in confrontation, but also because they are put into a very effective tactic. The key point of the situation lies in how the pressure is distributed evenly instead of concentrated in a single direction. Killer whales don't hunt in a way that takes everything, but in a way that selects the right part needed in a short amount of time. This shows that the hunt relies not only on the instinct to attack, but also on the very precise use of energy. In nature, efficiency is sometimes more important than the scale of the victory itself. During migration, whales rely on the bond between mother and calf to maintain a safe zone. The mother constantly adjusts her swimming direction to shield and maintain a stable distance from any changes. The rhythm of movement is kept steady, creating a sense of control in the open space. But that state only exists as long as the formation remains intact. From a safe distance, orca gradually close in and force the formation to change direction. They divide positions, force direction, and cause the calf to begin to deviate from the original protective line. The stable swimming rhythm is gradually broken as escape routes are no longer maintained. Pressure increases with each step, leaving no opportunity to readjust the formation. As soon as the calf deviates from its safe position, the situation shifts in favor of the orca. The mother immediately turns back to protect, but her reaction is not quick enough to restore the original distance. The constant pressure prevents the target from returning to the formation. The outcome is determined from the moment the link is broken and the young one is isolated. On the sandy shore, the sea lion maintains its survival instinct by choosing a location near the shore to rest and observe. It trusts in the short distance between its body and the safe zone above the sand, where the underwater danger seems to have been left behind. This familiar feeling of safety lowers its vigilance, and that's when the true distance begins to be misjudged. Outside of the shallow water, the killer whale doesn't rush to approach, but maintains a wide circle to gain momentum from a distance. It waits for the exact moment its target believes it's safe, then accelerates a short distance and launches itself straight onto the sand. The entire approach is very quick, based on a calculation that accepts the risk of stranding in exchange for a decisive advantage. The situation shifts from stillness to pressure in a very short time. That moment instantly shatters the sea lion's sense of security. The attempt to leave the position was no longer quick enough when the distance was broken at a very close range. The outcome was determined when the sandbank could no longer maintain its previous role in preserving distance. In this section, what is noteworthy is not only the approach itself, but also the killer whale's highly calculated risk-taking ability. In a sandy bottom environment, stingrays rely on blending with the substrate to maintain a temporary safe distance. Their flattened bodies help them cling to the bottom and reduce their visibility from above. They keep their movements very low, waiting rather than leaving their position too early. This creates a sense of control, but their reaction will slow if the distance is suddenly broken. Without applying pressure early, the orca maintains a hidden position and approaches at a shallow depth. It adjusts its angle of movement to keep the target within close range, then waits at the right distance before unleashing a powerful tail whip. The impact is quick and concentrated, knocking the stingray off its bottom clinging position. The situation shifts from a static state to one of loss of control in a single instant. Immediately after the strike, the orca does not continue to press but leaves the area. The stingray is briefly unstable, but there is no further pursuit. The outcome of the situation is not determined by consuming the prey, but by stopping after the initial impact. In this section, it is noteworthy that the aggressive behavior is not directly tied to the need for food, but may be related to skill training or curious interaction. No attack occurs in isolation in nature. Killer whales link many small actions into a controlled attack sequence, each step progressively reducing the opponent's ability to react. When the pressure is maintained long enough, the advantage shifts decisively to one side, and when the attack occurs, it is no longer the starting point, but the end point of the entire process.